to do that, I think we ought to look at must and can't, which is on section 28, I believe. Let's have a look. Section 25, 26, 27, 28. Is this must and can't? It is indeed must and can't. Let's get it a bit closer. Perhaps that's a bit too close, a bit further away. Now, my house is near the motorway. It must be very noisy. Yeah, you're just making a deduction here. We use must and can't for deduction. If something must be true or can't be true, you're saying I'm 100% sure it's true, or I'm 100% sure it's false. And so use must and can't to say when something is certain or certainly not the case. So for example, you've been traveling all day, you must be tired. Joe is a hard worker. Joe, you must be joking. Yeah, he doesn't do anything. Louise must get very bored in her job. She does the same thing every day. So all of this is about deduction. Yeah, and I'm sure Sally gave me her address. I must have it here somewhere. You can use can't to say that something you believe something is not possible. So you've just had lunch. You can't be hungry already. Or they haven't lived here for very long. They can't know many people. Yeah, is that all clear? I hope that's all clear, that you use must and can't for when you're dealing with speculation about what must be the case or what can't be the case. Yeah, so very often it's for speculation, and certainly it's for when you're speculating on what happened. But when you're speculating on the past, we need the past modal forms I'm going to mention any second now. But if we're talking about the present or the future, we just use must and infinitive, or maybe must be and continuous if you want it in a continuous tense. So maybe something is happening right in front of you. Maybe you want to say, if you're certain that something isn't happening right now. So for example, he can't be sitting in an exam. I saw him. He can't be sitting in an exam at the moment. I just saw him 3 minutes ago. Yeah, he can't be sitting in an exam hall. I just saw him out on the street. So he can't be sitting. You're using a continuous form. And yes, you can use continuous forms with modal verbs if you want to say you're in the middle of something. Yeah, it can't be sitting in the middle of an exam. Yeah, so we use those continuous forms still with modal verbs as well. But we don't only use continuous, we use perfect forms too. Must have done, can't have done. And we just looked at should have done. And I wanted to really persuade you that should have done is the opposite of must have done. They're not the same. Should and must are really similar. But should have done is nothing like must have done. When you say something must have happened, you are 100% sure that it happened. When you say something should have happened, you know that it didn't happen, but you think it would have been good if it did happen. Okay, that's the main difference. And so you can see it's a massive difference. They're nothing like each other, should have done and must have done, even though should do and must do are very similar. So have a look at this. For the past, we use must have done and can't have done. There's nobody at home. They must have gone out. Yeah, I am certain that they went out. It's not the same as they should have gone out, because if they should have gone out, they didn't go out, so they're at home at the moment. Okay, and we could have this one as well. Martin and Lucy are standing at the door of their friend's house. They have rung the doorbell twice, but nobody answered. Lucy says they must have gone out. Okay, we used to live very near the motorway. Did you? It must have been noisy. Yeah, this is something in the past now. It's not in the present, but in the past. And so you're saying, I am sure that it was noisy. Yeah, very different from it should have been noisy. When you say it should have been noisy, maybe you're talking about a party and saying that party was really quiet. It should have been noisy. You're saying it was quiet, but it should have been noisy. It's not the same at all as it must have been noisy, where you're certain it was. Okay, I've lost one of my gloves. You must have dropped it somewhere. I'm certain you dropped it. Sarah hasn't contacted me. She can't have got my message. Yeah, I am certain she didn't get my message. Tom walked into a wall. He can't have been looking where he was going. Yeah, so I am sure that he wasn't looking. Notice the perfect continuous structure. Yes, we have that as well, and it's very rare, but you'd use it like this, something like, my grandfather told me that he met Mussolini yesterday. He must have been dreaming, or he must have been drinking. Yeah, both of those would work. So we do use this this form as well. And all Murphy says is study the structure. That's a little bit cowardly of Murphy, just to give you the structure and not tell you anything about it. But I do like Murphy. I don't want to call him a coward. He's a very good grammarian, and he does things very carefully. But notice that he hasn't really gone into detail on the can't have been doing or must have been doing. I'll tell you now that it's when you are in the middle of, again, but perfect about the past. So when you say he must have been dreaming, he must have been in the middle of a dream. When you say he might have been drinking, he might have been in the middle of a drink. Yeah. So really it is continuous form of in the middle of that's still important here. Okay, we're going to stop it there for today, but I hope I've convinced everybody out there that the difference between must have done and should have done is huge. They're more or less opposites. They're not opposites, but they're almost like that. Because when something should have happened, it didn't happen. And when something must have happened, it did happen. So appreciate the massive difference between should have done and must have done. That's where I often see the mistake. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. Another lesson on modal verbs. I think that's all for today. I don't think I've got much energy left for any more classes today, but I think I'll do some more tomorrow. So please come along, please click the notifications bell, guys. If you're not sure how when these lessons happen, neither am I, and they just happen when they happen. So click on the notifications bell if you want to be alerted to when these lessons happen. Please go to my website over there, skype-lessons.com, to find more videos, and I hope to see you all soon.